Lesson 78, rational equations. That means equations with fractions. Rational numbers are fraction. So what we want to do is simplify. We want to get rid of the fractions. And we look at the denominators, 2, 4, and 6. And we find the smallest number that 2, 4, and 6 go into, which is 12. So what I do is I multiply each term by 12. And then what happens is I can cancel. 2 goes in once, 2 goes in 6, 4 goes in once, 4 goes in 3 times, 6 goes in once, so I cancel. And when the denominator is 1, you don't have to write it. So I end up with 6y plus 3 equals 2y. So it's the same problem without fractions. Then I get the y's on both sides by subtracting 2y from both sides. And then I subtract 3 from both sides. So I end up with 4y equals 3. I want to get y by itself, so I divide both sides by 4. When I divide this by 4, the 4 just disappears and y equals negative 3/4. The next example, I look at the denominators 7, 2, and 3. The smallest number that they'll all go into is 42. Now, if you have trouble figuring out what's the smallest number, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be the smallest, but you can always just do it by multiplying them all together. So 2 times 3 is 6, times 7 is 42. It turns out 42 is the number. So I multiply each term by 42, and then magic, they all cancel out. I picked a number where all the denominators will cancel. 7 goes in once, 7 goes in 6, 2 goes in once, goes in 21, 3 goes in once, goes in 14. So 6 times 2x is 12x, 21 times 3x is 63x, and 14 times 1 is 14. Now 12 minus 63x is negative 51x equals 14, and then I divide both sides by negative 51. So I get x equals 14 over negative 51. Notice it doesn't matter where the negative sign is. You could write it in the bottom, or you could write it at the top, or you could just write it out front. As long as there's only one, it's all the same answer.